You know,
Where were you born?
right here in Fredonia. I graduated from Dunkirk High School,
What was your class?
1940.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Pearl Harbor. Do you remember that day?
Yeah, very well. Well, my aunt and uncle lived kind of kitty corner across from us, and their boy usually came over and visited a little bit on a Sunday. Now, this is just a silly thing.
Sure.
But I said to Mother, now I want some of the mashed potatoes you got because Charlie's coming over, and I just want to surprise him a little bit. We didn't know at that time about the war was coming on right then. So Charlie came over, my cousin, and I said, well, he started talking about it. Did you hear this and that? And I says, how would you like a dish of ice cream? We made it often with a crank on Sundays in the wintertime. And he says, yeah, I'd like some. So we had an old farmhouse with a pantry. I went in the pantry, I got a couple scoops of mashed potatoes. I put some of Mother's nice brown gravy over them. And I brought it out. I said, here, Charlie, you can have this. It's funny, I haven't thought of it in years. And, you can have this and enjoy it while you're talking. And then, of course, we did get more sober about things. But once he took that in his mouth, that's not ice cream. But we were always doing jokes like that. I took a secretarial course, which is different than anything you got today. And I got a good job in the office where my father worked. Some guys in nice suits, uniforms came in, wanted to talk to us girls. Okay, so he recruited us to work in Washington. I went home and I says, I'm going to go work in Washington. Mother says, no, you're going to Scotland now. You'll get just as good if you stay right here and work here. I says, I don't know, Mother. And my father says, hey, what did I send her to school for at this time when it took a lot of money that we didn't have, you know? And he says, I think she should go for the experience. She's been on the farm all her life, and it would be a good experience. All 5 of us girls went. And when we got there, they had places where we could room and board on Massachusetts Avenue there in Washington. But I was going to come home that day, the next day, because I only had $85. I thought that isn't going to cut the ice in Washington. I didn't know what, I knew what it was, but I didn't know how it was. And I didn't think. Pop says, I'll give you some money to get you going. I says, no, I got to do this on my own, Pop. So went, had to share a room with another girl. Never saw her. She was a little older than I was. And she was from Fitzgerald, Georgia. And she wasn't there when I went in. She was working. She worked for where they made the money. She came home. I was laying on one of the 2 beds there crying. She says, my new girl, are gonna be here? And I says, no, I'm going home tomorrow morning. She says, what for? I says, I can't, there's no, I I can live here or do anything here. It's too expensive. Well, we got to talking, you know, and all of a sudden she says, excuse me a minute, I have to go down and see if the supper's ready for us yet. So she went down, came back in. She handed me a piece of paper. I says, what's this? She says, look at it. She had paid my rent for that month. So that I would say, I had never seen a girl before in my life. And that's the way that they were down there, everybody helping everybody else. So that was my first day there. Then we had to get down to it and work, though. You know how the typewriters are now. Mm-hmm. Well, those typewriters wasn't like that. Those, you hit those keys. And if you hit the thing on that, was if you hit a wrong key, no whiteouts, no erasures, nothing. You start over, even if it was the last one. What they called Visa cards, they were a little card with the information of the boys as they came in and were recruited to work, you know. Okay. Who their parents were, if they were married, if they had children, you know, all that stuff. I had to get all on that little card. Pennsylvania Avenue, block and a half away from the White House. It was back when Roosevelt was, and he'd come out with 2 or 3 people to try to, he had this cute little dog, fell, and go right by our windows. So we'd stand in the window and we'd wave to him. And he was a very nice, very, very nice man. We didn't try to push ourselves into anything, but just stand there and say hello and how are you. He was in a wheelchair. Guards came with him, 2 or 3 people, you know. And then he had this little dog. It was a cute thing. And usually, every morning he'd come. I think once or twice we met Mrs. Roosevelt too, but they made mistakes. I had 2 brothers that was in the Army, and somehow or other somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do, because their names and my name was Willson, with 2 L's in. And one day I thought, hey, my brother's things are here. I gotta look and see what's going on with them. So I started in, and somebody came in, what are you looking at, Doris? I says, oh, I'm just looking at who all's here. And that girl, she, a lady inspector, she says, oh, are they somebody you know? How could I say anything? Only yes, because they had the same name as I did. And right away, I got on, they gave me a different thing to work without them. And I had cousins and brothers and uncles, anything I had in the service.
So did you, on these cards, would it tell you where they were, where they had been, campaigns?
Now, one of the girls that went with me, she got a job typing up the, to send to the parents when there was a death or a injury or something. I'm glad I didn't get that. I don't know if I could have taken it, but it all had to be done.
So she would have gotten notification internally that Greg Peterson is a casualty, and then she'd pull up the card and see who to send that letter to. We regret to inform you
Telegram,
that.
The Japanese have accepted our terms fully. That's the word we've just received from the White House in Washington. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Second World War.
If I wanted to, I could have stayed on, but I decided as long as I wasn't needed too bad, I'd come home. My mother had been pretty sick, and I thought I needed to be home. Didn't have traffic lights coming and going, the electric traffic lights. There was like policemen standing, you know, and pushing them, and they go this way and that. And I was going across Massachusetts Avenue, which is four lanes this way and 4 lanes this way. And that's the way it was. Well, I got in the middle, and I walked out of my shoe. And I says, oh dear, I gotta get my shoe. And so they stopped all the traffic, that's every which way. Got my shoe and got it there. And one of the guys, he says, you know, now you can do something. You can tell your grandchildren that you stopped traffic in Washington, D.C. on Massachusetts Avenue.
That's a great story. Did you ladies fraternize much with the people in Washington?
Once a month that they had leave of absence or whatever it was, you know, and they'd come in and they'd ask us girls to go. There was where, you know, Ferris wheels and things are a little ways away, and a trolley that would take it to us in Virginia there. And they'd come and, you know, we'd just kind of have a good time, and that would be nice. And most of them was headed overseas. Well, I'm 96 years old, and a lot of things have gone out.
Wow, you would never know that. You hide it very well.
I don't try to hide it. President Roosevelt. I have met other presidents too, to the point, you know, I could talk to them a little and like that. In fact,
Like who?
Well, like Hoover. And I was born the day Harding, when Harding was born, when he took the oath of office, that day I was born.
This was 1921.
And I weighed 2 pounds and 3 ounces.
Were you able to follow your brothers through the war?
Well, to the fact of how they'd write to Mom and tell her as much as they could. They couldn't tell her where they were, but try to make her think. I wouldn't be able to do any more than that.
Was your brothers, what services were they in?
My older brother, Woodrow Willson, was working on airplanes.
Okay.
And my younger brother was in the infantry, and he was over in Japan and all around.
Did he talk about his experiences?
He wouldn't. My older brother did.
Okay.
But my younger brother, he'd clam right up when you'd ask him, and he was pretty sick from it too.
Okay.
Yeah, mentally. Well, I enjoyed it. I don't know. Probably be a celebrity around here.
I would think so, yeah.
Because I don't talk much about it to other people, you know. It's just, if they ask me questions, that's it.
Well, you'll be a celebrity, no doubt.